Listen to those geese. They are talking. Benelli and I walked out here on the deck early. Got down in the 40s last night. That's amazing. Down in the 40s. High 40s. In fact, it might not have quite got down there, but I think it did. I didn't really look at it. Feels like it's in the 40s out here. I'll put it that way. I don't know if that's the pair that is on the have the eggs over there, but over on Steve and Aaron's point by their house, there's a nest. It's kind of wide out in the open. Geese do that sometimes. Kind of right out in the open. But it's got 4 eggs. If you'll remember, that pair, or a pair that looked just like them. Look at that little tiny duck there. A pair that looked just like them raised 4 baby chicks from a baby all the way up to adulthood. And they're living around here somewhere. But this is a pair that, I don't know if that's that same pair or not. Early like it is, perhaps not. Because she ought to be over there keeping them eggs warm, I would think. Particularly as cool as it's got. Look at the mountain over there. The mountain is completely solid in green leaves. And of course some evergreens mixed in there. They kind of are a little darker looking, but can't even hardly see those evergreens now because everything is green. Evergreens and everything else is green. Absolutely spectacular. Spring has happened again in southern Oklahoma. God is right on time. Absolutely right on time. Do we serve a great God? I'm believing we do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm believing we do. Well, look at that. I walked out here with Benelli. She's laying here at my feet, and I look out in the yard. And there's a pair of big Canada goose out there. And probably that male and female that's been hanging around. The nest is over on the other side of, all that. It's over on Steve and Aaron's point. And but these are right here in the yard, just kind of enjoying themselves, eating grass. Bermuda grass began to come up. They got rye and clover. And they're just having a good time. I really don't want the geese running around in the yard because they get out on the dock and they're just so doggone messy. But they sure are beautiful to look at, and that's a beautiful pair. And they're not paying any attention at all to Benelli and I. They're just basically almost tame. They are wild geese, but they're tame. They may have a nest down there somewhere, but I haven't seen one, and I haven't been seeing them in the yard, so they're probably just hanging out. And they're awfully pretty. Oh dear around the feeder this morning as day breaks here on the ranch. One big old elk decided that needs a little South Fresh deer food to supplement her grass diet. The camera doesn't want to focus in too much there this morning because it's still early, just barely breaking day, but that looks pretty good though. And there was one deer out here. It was still too dark to video, and that one deer was little Buddy. And I see little Buddy walking way back there in the distance. I think that's him. It may not be. Hard to tell. Still not daylight good. The sun is definitely not up. That's all that's around. Nothing in the front yard, nothing across the road. I'm not positive that's Buddy back there in the background, but Buddy was up there with that cow about 15 minutes ago. Actually, Buddy was there feeding. The cow was just walking up. But the woods are pretty empty. Other than that big old girl, she's looking back here listening to me talk and saying, "What's happening, Jimmy? I'm just trying to eat a little bit of breakfast." Deer walking off in the background, I suppose. There's Buddy. Cow says, "I'll leave too if you're going to sit there and jabber all day." I'm just, Buddy. Something scared him a little bit there. if that's him. Take a look at all the pretty wildflowers growing here. This is one of the things that we've got a lot of on the ranch, is all different kinds of wildflowers. And it's awful pretty to just drive through and just look at what you're driving through, because there's a lot of beautiful wildflowers and it makes it really, really nice. I like them anyway. Nice little pond. I'm surprised that pond got really, really low, but we put a few fish in it. Apache fish is in there and catches a few every now and then. I'm surprised Benelli hadn't gone down there and jumped in. Benelli, you want to go get in the water, girl? Cool off? Yeah. Yeah, she says yes. Yes, I want to go get in the water. Oh my gosh, just go for a little swim. Oh, that feels so good. A black dog wearing a black coat. About 80 degrees out here probably. She's really enjoying that. I'm enjoying looking at the wildflowers. Benelli's enjoying that cool water. She really needed to cool down. She wasn't going to go get in until I told her she could, because she didn't want the mule to leave. That's pretty right there. Black lab enjoying a nice swim. Yeah, buddy. Well, I'm talking about. I haven't found any sheds running around today. I was hoping Benelli and all of her running around would find me some, or I would eyeball some or something. That really changed her outlook on life. She'll be ready to run around again. Might not get out of there for a while. I don't know. Might be like the kids. Might have to make her get out of the pool. Our pool is God-made water. Dammed up. That's the only pool we have. That felt pretty good, didn't it, girl? Huh? That felt pretty good. Don't come up right here around me and shake the water off. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Now I'm going to go get back. That's so much fun, I think I'll just do it again. So much fun, I think I'll just do it again. Oh my goodness. I love it. I don't know what causes these pretty little rascals to grow just in certain areas, but some places you'll find a lot of them. Some places you'll find just a nice little cluster like that right there. But they're pretty. That's my neighbor's land over there, Pat Howell. Pat's a great neighbor. Pat's got several thousand acres, a big cattle rancher, and goats. He's got a lot of goats. You can see that where we love woods, Pat loves grazing land. And he loves grazing land because he's got a lot of big old bulls, a lot of big old black Angus cattle, and he raises a lot of babies throughout the summertime and takes them to the market in the fall. And that's how he makes a really good living. He's, I don't know how many generation rancher down, several generation rancher down. And he's got just a beautiful piece of property there. Big piece of property. They join us on the north side and the east side of the ranch. And they used to lease out the hunting rights over there on that. And the last several years he hasn't done it, which is really nice on our part. Because the deer that we have roam on both his land and ours, and we do hunt. The kids hunt. I don't really hunt much here, but we enjoy. We got a lot more deer because he does not lease the hunting rights out, and sometimes he's had at least the people that shoot any size buck or doe or whatever they see, and I think he just decided he didn't need the money quite bad enough to lease it out and put up with the people. But he's got a beautiful ranch, as you can see, and joining our land. If you look over on our side, you see these are big food plots we're in right now, but you see these big beautiful food plots, but surrounded by creeks, surrounded by woods. Perfect place for the deer to live and spend the day and feel safe and secure. This little creek that we're looking at here is the creek that actually feeds Big Canyon Lake, and you can see that the water is running. It comes out of the ground about a mile above where we are right here. You can see that carries a lot of water. It's got a pretty big hole in the ground as it runs down through this creek. It carries a lot of water. It comes out of the ground up above where we are in this direction that the camera's pointing, about a mile or so up there, maybe a little over a mile. And it's still well over a mile to where this water will eventually run into Big Canyon Lake. And we're just kind of driving around looking. You can see it's a beautiful little creek, and it carries, during heavy rains, it carries serious water. Serious water. It can definitely fill that lake up if we ever get some good rains, but We haven't had much. We're about 5 inches below what we had last year right now for the middle of April, getting down toward the end of April, and just about every rain that's come by has missed us. But it's a pretty little spot, and again, a nice big food plot down here. This is a food plot you're looking at right there. Beautiful, beautiful food plots. They're all doing good. I use NutriPlot on them, and they just make incredibly great food plots. Speaking of pecan trees leafing out, here's our baby trees. You can see that they are leafing out pretty doggone good. They're a long way from being full, but we'll just drive down through here and take a look at them. Probably about 60 trees there out of 100 we planted a few years ago. These produced quite a bit of pecans this year, as a matter of fact. And we kind of hand-picked them and just kept them for ourselves. But they were big old beautiful improved pecans, and they're looking good. That means that these trees are tapped trees. They're tapped into an underwater water source. This is what's feeding them water. We do not water these trees anymore. We watered them when they were little. But you can see they're looking pretty good. Hopefully they have enough underground water to grow and get larger this year and produce even more pecans, and one of these days be large enough to shake. Some of y'all will be eating pecans off of these trees right here. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Yeah, buddy. And this is the creek where we were about a mile or so. You can see there is some water still running through it. This is the creek that runs into Big Canyon Lake. We're probably only half a mile or so from the lake right now. This water's going to go down and go under the road and eventually go down into that lake. It's probably evaporating right now about as fast as anything going in. It's definitely not rising. I've seen this flowing like a big river right here, but that's been a few years since I've seen it flowing like that. But that's a beautiful creek. It comes out of the ground on the ranch. We're about a mile from where we were a minute ago. If you'll look up here, you'll see now that's muddy there because Benelli jumped in the water. A little branch comes into that right side right there, but the main creek is coming around that way, right up in front of where Benelli is, and it goes off back over there and comes down through, and eventually it'll get back here where we were. It's about another mile or so, probably further than that if you actually walk the creek. But beautiful creek runs through the property. It just needs to carry more water. Beautiful clear water, except where Benelli's waded around in there. And another one of these great spots we like to come by as often as we can. We will end this week with a couple of deer at the feeder here this morning. The feeder has just gone off and only two deer showed up. One's Buddy. And Buddy always looks skinny to me. I don't know. But you look at that doe. No, that's another buck. Look at that other buck there. You can see it's nubbins. It's a wild buck. No tag in him. I say that. Now, there might be a red tag. I don't know. I think maybe there is a red tag in that deer's ear. And Buddy looks like he's going to have some pretty good antlers. His antlers are already beginning to show pretty good. And the other buck, I think he had a red tag. What do y'all think? I believe that he had a red tag in his ear. But there are just not many bucks coming out this week. I did see Mr. Forrest. He was about a mile from the house. I was out looking in the woods, walking, trying to find another shed or two. No luck that day. Didn't really walk a lot, maybe a couple, 2 or 3 miles. Yeah, that deer's got some pretty nice nubbins coming up. That's a pretty nice buck right there. I think that's a mature buck. Got just a little bit of swag in there. But Buddy's just kind of ragged looking to me, and he's been that way since he got hurt. You know, he was hurt quite a little bit when he was a baby. And, but he hangs around the house, and he looks like he's going to have some pretty good antlers on him. So that'll kind of wrap it up for this week's ranch video. Not many deer coming around the house. Lots and lots and lots of green. Everything is turned green. Look at the trees. Everything is just, my goodness, full. Here in the yard where the deer had pretty much ruined this front part of the yard. We've got grass going in there. Not completely, but it's growing, getting done. The prayer circle's looking good. You know, the prayer circle has a lot of deer in it. I mean, a lot of deer. But here lately, not many deer coming around. The deer are enjoying the ranch in the wild. Not many coming around the house. But we'll see what happens watching these giant antlers grow, because the next 2 or 3 months is going to be a lot of fun. Baby's coming as well. Guys and girls, remember, golly, I sure do love you.